Hi, I'm Robert SHELIDE, Chief of Police for Shelby Township, and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a very special show for you today. With me, to my right, Officer Joe WOJCIK.
How you doing,
Joe,
Chief?
hello. And Officer Justin GOEBEL.
Chief.
Hello. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Glad to hear you. You guys are part of our illustrious canine unit. Joe, we'll start with you. You have Morpheus. And why don't we tell the audience a little bit about how Morpheus came to light, how you found Morpheus, when and where. Tell us about the training and the selection process.
So I was selected as a canine handler back in 2015 by our command staff, who was Lieutenant Trumbull at the time, who led the program. What happened was Lieutenant Trumbull and myself went down to a place called Shallow Creek in Pennsylvania. We stayed maybe 2 or 3 days there and looked at a whole bunch of different dogs to see what dog would best fit our community and what we wanted. What it came down to is 3 dogs. Morpheus was one. Morpheus is a black shepherd. It came down to a Dutch shepherd and a Belgian Malinois. And Morpheus, through his bite work, through his tracking ability, we selected him as our canine for our first canine in a long time at Shelby Township. I think Kevin Triorgi was our previous handler, maybe 6, 7 years prior to that. So it was a big duration between me getting a canine and a previous canine. So we selected this dog, and this dog, he's been a rock star for our community ever since. He's been excellent. He had a huge tracking success rate back in 2018, or 2017 rather, 73%, when the average ratio is about 23%. He has been fantastic. He's been the best partner I've had. I mean, there's nothing I could say that would say, I mean, this is the best job I've ever had. It's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, we brought you along into canine team. Was that in late 16 or early 17?
That was late 16.
Okay.
I went to the same place that Joe went, Shallow Creek Kennels, to select Nico. Lieutenant Trumbo
Okay.
Also was still in charge of the program then.
Okay.
And he helped guide me into the selection process. Just like Officer WOJCIK, we saw probably 20-something dogs those couple days, and we were able to narrow it down. There was 2 different dogs, and Nico ended up being the best dog for me in the end. I've enjoyed every second of working with him since.
Now, you guys both have families, okay? Joe, we'll go with you. Tell me about the home life, what it looks like. You both have children at home, young children and wives. How does Morpheus interact at home with the family and the children?
So when you first bring him back, you have to establish pretty much a pecking order, because he's going to try to establish himself as leader of the pack. And what the family is a pack. And what you have to do is you have to introduce your family members to Morpheus in this case, and you have to be very careful about it, because these are police dogs. These are working dogs. They're not your typical pets. You don't want to just toss your pet or the working dog into an environment with your kids and something potentially dangerous happens. Somebody gets bit, something like that. So what you do is you work your family into the situation. So my daughter would feed Morpheus. My wife would give Morpheus a treat. But every time I'm there, even to today, I'm still out when Morpheus is out in the household. Now, when Morpheus is on the road, he's totally different than when he's at home. When he's at home, he wants to play. I had 2 other dogs, and he always wants to play with them. He wants to play with my kids. But like I said, he is a working dog. So I have to be there all the time, because I'm not going to take the chance, because they are considered a tool. Even though I love them to death, I still have to look out for my family too as well, if you get what I'm saying.
Of course I do.
So he's part of the family. He acts like part of the family. He's with the family all the time, but I'm always watching too. You have to be mindful of that.
Okay.
So.
Now, Justin, your kids are a little bit younger than Joe's, so they're much younger actually, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how's your youngest?
I have a 4-year-old.
Okay. So walk me through when you brought Nico home. How did your wife feel about it?
Well, my wife was 100% behind this. She knew that this was the one goal that I really had set forth for myself when I got in this career, and after I brought Nico home, I mean, there was some concern, because at the time my youngest was 2. But him and my 2-year-old have actually hit it off remarkably well. He follows her around. He's her protector. He's her shepherd. He walks around. If he thinks there's something dangerous, he'll actually almost nudge her away from something. When the 2 girls are playing a little bit too rough sometimes, he'll walk in between them because he thinks there might be something wrong. and he's integrated into our family pretty seamlessly. It took some time to get there. I was extremely cautious. I mean, it was a matter of months before he was fully integrated within our family. But now with my young children and my other dog, he fits in the family perfectly. He loves my wife. I've been really fortunate with that. But when he sees my uniform go on, he knows that it's time to go to work, and his personality changes. First thing he wants to do when he gets home most of the time is say hi to my wife. But if I'm in uniform and he knows he's going to work, he completely ignores everybody else. He just wants to go to work.
He's in work mode. Joe, how often do you guys train?
We train every week, about 8 hours every week, 4 times a month. So we get well above the required amount for training, but that just helps us make our program an elite program. Almost everybody in our group trains about the same amount of time we do. If you get out further into the country and stuff, those small departments don't get the quality of training that we get. So we're blessed to get that amount of training. And we'll do anything from building searches, area searches, tracking, narcotics, obedience, suspect apprehension, anything else I'm missing?
Handler protection.
And handler protection. So we do a wide variety of things.
Well, we have some great footage to show our audience at home, and we'll take a break and show them that.
Come on.
Police dogs are a vital part of modern law enforcement, and they are specially trained to be relied upon in extreme conditions.
Morpheus and Nico, they're trained in article search, building search, area search, narcotics, handler protection, aggression. They're trained for multiple assets of canine work.
Training any dog requires constant rehearsal and hours upon hours of ongoing training.
You are amped up, buddy. Good job.
In fact, the most important factor to success is often the maintenance work that occurs long after the initial training has been completed.
We train every Thursday for 8 hours. So we train as much as possible. We even train on our own time. So if we go home and we toss some articles out in our backyard, I'll have my kid lay a track. I mean, that's still training. Even in the house, we do obedience. If he's going outside, he knows he has to sit. If he gets his food, he knows he needs to go in a down position. It's constant training, even if you're away from work.
Every interaction that I have with Nico is a training opportunity. So whenever I have Nico out, I'm training him in some way, shape, or form. I'm constantly making sure that my dog's performing at the highest level possible.
Training is very important because you need certification. You don't want to go into court and say your dog's not certified, because if there's a bad bite, you need to explain to the judge, the jury, the prosecution, the defense attorney that your dog's certified, it was a good bite, and this is why.
Although honing the physical and mental abilities of the canine is of the utmost importance, there is one factor which is even more important to the success of the canine and handler team.
Okay, bud. No, we're not finding dope.
Due to the highly personal nature of the handler and canine relationship, bonding can be the most important aspect of the canine training experience.
The bond is vitally important. I mean, Nico and I have been fortunate enough we've been working together for over 2 years now. It probably took a couple months to actually get that trust in there. Your partner needs to trust you that you're putting him in a good situation, that he's not going to get harmed, and that he's comfortable in everything that he can do, because he trusts you on what you're going to direct him into doing.
Bonding is anything from tossing a ball in the backyard every day to taking them for walks to bring them to training every day. That's all part of bonding. So you need to bond with your dog before you have any successful canine handler. Attaboy, good boys. Attaboy, buddies. Oh, it's like a boys.
And for these handlers, Morpheus and Nico are so much more than law enforcement tools. The extensive training might bring with it some bumps and bruises, but the experience has proven to be priceless.
Best job ever. Even though the bruises, but best job ever.
So Justin, I know you're a crime fighter, and I have this talk with you and with Joe in the past. And the talk was, I know you guys want these dogs, so you want to go out and catch bad guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And I love that, to be honest with you. But do you remember me telling you how important the piece is of the community relations and what level, what balance I want you to have? Do you remember what I told you on that?
It's extremely important.
Okay.
It's right up there. It is equally as important as fighting the crime out there.
Okay.
you know what, Officer WOJCIK said it the other day. It was a great analogy. We are the tip of the spear in regards to the public relations aspect.
Yes.
Nico is, I've been really fortunate with him. He is spectacular with children. He's spectacular with the public. And we love doing demonstrations for the public. We love doing demonstrations with children. And getting out there, I'll pull him out at 7-Eleven every once in a while, and he'll come out and say hi to kids out there. Just getting out there in the community and letting people see the dog. He's not only a tool; he's there for everybody.
Yeah.
So
that's great analysis. What I had told you guys back when you got your dogs is that I wanted a 50-50 balance of the crime fighting and the community relations. And the reason we can do that is because we live in such a spectacular community. A safe community, our Shelby Township. I tell people this is the best kept secret in Southeast Michigan is our community. Now, if we're in a little rougher community, we'd probably have to have more on the crime fighting role, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But we're fortunate enough that we can do a 50-50 split. Now, you're talking to a guy that had 550 self-initiated felony arrests himself, so don't get me wrong. Like you and Joe, I want the dog out there crime fighting. But as chief of police, I realize the important role of our community relations. I see he's giving you a hard time over there, huh?
nah, he's wound up.
So was that hard on you when I tasked you with that, saying, look, you got to get into schools, you got to do demonstrations and everything, you're not going to be able there 100%. Was that hard on you as a person or no?
Not at all. I love working with kids. I love working with the public. I love doing demonstrations. I really enjoy the public relations aspect of this position. I love being able to answer questions about him, about how he works, I mean, everybody always asks me, do you take him home with you? Do you, what's he like at home and so forth? I love the fact that I can answer all these questions and just have more relationship with the community because of that. Because as soon as somebody finds out that you're a canine handler, they've always got 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
Nico,
he's bouncing around. He's having
Nico,
some fun today.
Platz. Hey, Nico, here, up. Good boy, Sita.
Now, you did a demonstration I was at recently, and I got rave reviews from the principal, assistant principal. The teachers were saying this is one of the best days in school history. They were so appreciative. You did it in front of the entire school. I was very impressed. So you had your training group out there.
I'm very glad that we got to do that. It was an enjoyable experience, and I can speak for myself and Officer WOJCIK, where we both thoroughly enjoy doing that kind of stuff with the community. It's fun getting out there and getting to work our dogs, but then on top of that, the dogs aren't just there to work. They're also to help establish that relationship with the community, and it works out really well.
Well, that's very evident. Let's take a look at, let's go to Flickinger Elementary and take a look at some film we have.
My name is Officer Justin GOEBEL. I work for Shelby Township Police Department, and this right here is my partner and my best friend. This is Nico. As you can see, he's got his own badge too. He's a sworn officer with Shelby Township Police Department. He's considered a German Shepherd, and his coloring is a sable colored, okay? He actually speaks a different language than the rest of us. So he speaks Dutch. And so I had to learn how to speak Dutch. Well, most everybody knows English in this country, so teaching them a different foreign language, other people aren't going to be able to tell him what to do, even though he won't listen to other people, he only listens to me. But it's kind of a fail-safe, so it's just a safe way to do it so that I know the commands and not everybody else does. He is not the strongest, biggest dog, believe it or not. He's actually one of the smaller dogs in my training group. I train with a bunch of other canine handlers, and Nico's actually pretty small for a police dog, but he's pretty strong for his size. You guys know what he uses to find things? His nose, that's exactly right. A dog's nose can smell things 3 million times better than our nose. So just think about it that way. Good boy, that's a boy. So Nico doesn't do anything until I tell him it's okay to do something. As you can tell, he loves to tug with me, and he's a strong dog. Oh, that's a boy. So dogs communicate really well with us in a bunch of different ways. Now, do you guys want to see Nico find, maybe find some stuff that smells like drugs? Yeah? Okay. Nico, Sita. Come on, come on, come on, come on, let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Huh? That's a boy. Good job, buddy. So I don't know if you guys could see there, but when Nico finds what he's looking for, I can't even pull him away from that because he's gonna stay right there until his toy comes out. He refuses to leave that. As soon as he sees my uniform, he's ready to go to work. Good boy, buddy. There you go. There you go. Nico. Here. Good boy. Good boy.
So you've seen Officer Goebel in action with Nico. Now we have Officer WOJCIK here with Morpheus to talk about. Joe, I want to talk about specifically what is it like to work with Morpheus on a day-to-day basis? What's it like to be in the car with him alone when you're out confronting criminals?
So anybody that knows Morpheus, anybody from our road patrol knows that he's full go all the time. If I'm on a traffic stop, he wants to be on the traffic stop too. He wants to let the person know, hey, I'm here too, so don't do anything silly because my dad's out there and I'm going to protect him. And what we have is we actually have pops for doors. If something gets out of hand, if somebody assaults me or what have you, he can jump right out of the car and help me out in the fight. He's prevented a couple times too where I've been performing a traffic stop and the individual wants to get out of the car and take off on foot. And as soon as he hears him fire up, because he'll fire up every time I'm on a traffic stop, letting people know he's there, they shut the doors and they stay in the car because they know the dog's going to come out if he tries taking off on foot. So he's full go all the time. He's all business on work, and that's the way he is. So he's got a different personality. He wants to work. Like I said, when I'm at home, it's a little different. But as soon as the door opens, get the police car out. He's going under the garage, hopping in the car. He wants to go.
Now, with your training group, all the different canine handlers, the dogs have their own names, but they all have their secret code names the handlers call.
Yeah.
So they all have their own nicknames, okay? You want to share with the audience what Morpheus' nickname is?
I don't know what you're talking about, Chief.
Okay. All right. We'll let that one go. I'll give you a pass on that. In my own experience, 32 years plus in law enforcement, I've seen some interesting things, as you can imagine. And specifically with canines, one of them I actually had to deal with this issue where the handler directed the dog to I don't want to say attack, but what word would you use, like when you want him to go?
Apprehend somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw an incident that I had to deal with as an administrator where the dog handler told the dog to apprehend somebody and the dog did not, dog froze. The dog didn't do anything. And I thought that was a major training issue, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And I talked to the master trainer and I said, look, we got to work with this handler and this can never happen again. If we do, I'm going to put the dog, So that was something I noticed. And then the second thing I saw was a video. And I'm sure you've seen this as a handler. This is famous. It's been around about 15 years. It was basically a death match between a guy trying to kill an officer and his dog was trying to help him. So it was 2-on-1, the officer and his dog. And the dog was like very ineffective. And he was, have you ever seen that video by any chance or not?
Are you talking about the one down in, I think it was Louisiana?
I don't know, it was 15,
like
20 years old easy, maybe even 25 years old. I think I saw it. Does that ring a bell at all or not? It was upsetting to watch because the dog was totally ineffective.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring these two instances up, and I kind of say this with a smile on my face, do you think this could ever happen with Morpheus?
No, he's going to engage when he needs to, and he knows when he's not supposed to engage as well. So he's going to do his job, retrain on a daily basis for it, reassure that he's going to engage the individual on the street by getting away from equipment so they don't fixate on that. And then obviously we do obedience and recalls and stuff like that so they know they need to come back if somebody surrenders. We're not going to send the dog if they surrender. So he knows he needs to recall. But without a doubt, he's going to engage the subject if he's trying to harm me, if he's trying to harm somebody else, if he's going to do his job.
Yeah. What I love about Morpheus, and don't get me wrong, I love Nico, but what Morpheus, to me, he represents the personality of our township, okay? No nonsense.
Yep.
We're all about business. Everyone's about taking care of their own yard, taking care of their neighbor, taking care of their children, helping anybody out. And I see Morpheus as just a great representative of our community. A no-nonsense guy who takes care of business. He's here to work every day, like most of our residents.
Oh yeah, he is. He's just a hard-going dog, and he's going to work until the final days. I'll tell you that. He's a great partner, and I wouldn't choose anybody different. He's the best partner I've ever had.
Let's take a look at Officer WOJCIK with Morpheus in action.
Morpheus is an excellent partner to work with. He is a determined dog. I mean, he's one of the best dogs in our training group by far when it comes to tracking. I'd never turn him away as one of the best dogs to go to a scene outside of this jurisdiction, in this jurisdiction. He had a terrific track rate in 2018. He had a 73% catch rate, which is kind of unheard of. Typical track performances are about 23%. He's very aggressive. If he needs to apprehend somebody, he's not going to ever quit. He'll go to the very end if he needs to. Hopefully it never ever comes to that point. He'll protect me to the end. He'll protect other officers. He'll find children if they go missing, Alzheimer's patients if they go missing. He's just a terrific dog. He knows what his job is. He knows his task, and he does it well. Boys. Oh. Oh boy, buds. Boy. Biggest strength is definitely his tracking. His ability at tracking. He really comes off the odor. He's so easy to read when tracking. He'll rarely lift his head until the end when he's air scenting. And when he misses a turn or blows by a turn, he'll quickly readjust and you'll see a head snap, which is just amazing because it's so easy to read. You watch other dogs, and that's the major problem that they'll have is their tracking ability. They're very hard to read. With him, simple as can be. It's just having the opportunity to get the tracks. It's the best thing in the world to do is the tracks. I like to do them more than narcotic work or area searches or anything like that. It's just the ultimate find when you find somebody, whether they're missing or they're a criminal. It's just great. Where? Where's that? Where's that, bud? Did you find it? There go, boys. He is aggressive, not a passive dog, so when he comes to odor, he'll scratch at source to indicate that the odor is there. He's found anything from heroin, he's found cocaine, obviously marijuana when it was legal, he found that. Ecstasy, meth, he's found all sorts of narcotics that are illegal. Atta boys, buddies. Good boy, good. So just depending on what he's doing, he'll kick it in different gears. When he's tracking, it's a constant run. He's not a slow, methodical. He is go, 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 go. So you have to obviously keep up, stay fit, because you're going to be hopping fences, everything with him. Up, up, up. Of course he goes behind me. Here, up, 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 up. Oh boy. Up, up. Oh boys. Up. He's got no problem going over fences. He's not afraid of anything. He's gonna get there. He's determined and he'll do it. As far as aggression goes, I hate to be somebody bit by him because, like I said, he's not gonna give up. If you're still fighting with him, he's gonna still fight with you. Oh yes, get him. Get in there, buds. Get in there. Oh, get him. Get him. Get him. Oh, he's not going to give up on you. Oh, yes. Get him, buddy. Oh. But on the same token, too, obedience is everything. So when it's time to come off that bite, if the guy's giving up and he's not fighting, he's come off, too, and he understands that. Bond is established between an officer and K-9. You have to work there. When we first got together, the bond wasn't there. He hated me. I knew he hated me. So you'd go out on walks with them. You develop a rapport with them. You play catch with them. You do fun things with them. And that's how you establish a bond. And the bond between us now is so great. Like I said, if somebody were to attack me, if you were to come up and push me, he'd be on you in a heartbeat. So the bond is there, and that's huge in canine work. You have to have that to be a canine officer. You have to establish that with the dog. I spend more time with him than I do with my own family. So sometimes it irritates my wife, but it is what it is. And it's just great having him around and working with my man's best friend every single day.
When I became chief back in 2015, it was imperative for us to have a presence with a canine team. When I laid out my vision that we're going to have 2 police handlers and 2 police canine dogs, some people chuckled at me and thought that it'll never happen. I was actually told that you'll never get 1 dog. And here I sit before you, and we have an outstanding canine team that I'm extremely proud of. Our staff is proud of them, and our community is proud of them. I can honestly look you in the eye and tell you are probably our 2 most popular officers we have on our department. I'd love to tell you they're Officer WOJCIK or Officer GOEBEL, but in all reality, they're Officer Morpheus and Officer Nico. They're 2 rock stars of our community. If you live here and have one eye open and pay attention to anything at all, you'll know who Morpheus and Nico are. They're all over our social media. That are different events we have with the children and different township events. We make sure we get them out there. Unfortunately, the kids can't really pet Morpheus. He has a different kind of personality, but I think Officer GOEBEL allows Nico to be pet a little bit, correct,
yes,
Justin?
Sir.
Yep, Justin allows Nico to be pet once in a while under his supervision. But one of our 4 pillars of excellence at our police department is pride. Professionalism, pride, preparedness, and teamwork. And the pride comes from having pride in what we do in serving our community. And when I look at our 2 outstanding officers right here and their dogs and their preparation and their training they put into and their passion and energy, I glow with pride. So on that note, I'll leave you until next time. You've been watching Straight Talk with Shelby Township Police Chief Robert SHELIDE. Thank you.